Hey guys, it's Mortil, aka Undead Billu, aka whatever the heck you want to call me. And today's a little storytime video because I have nothing else to do. I haven't been streaming on Twitch as much as I usually do. By the way, follow my Twitch. Should be in the description below. But this is a story time when I got cheated on. So let's get into it. So it's like it was this year 2020, and it's like it was like the beginning of the year, so it was like no COVID, nothing like that. I was able to go outside. It was all nice, and I had a girlfriend by this time, and now she is my ex, which we will get into. So everything goes down how the year goes down. Year begins pretty sad. Juice WRLD dies. Blah 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 blah. And I'm sitting in my bed just scrolling through YouTube, trying to look for like a new playlist because I was starting to get bored of my old playlist. My old playlist was mainly like X songs or like it was mainly consist of XXXTentacion. But I was sitting in my bed and I'm like, you know what? I got a gut feeling. And my gut feeling was just like, she's cheating on you. And I should have trusted my gut. My gut was actually being truthful when she was not. So I'm sitting there not trusting my gut at all. So I decided to call up. I'm like, hey, are you cheating on me? She's just like, no, why? I was like, because I had a feeling. I'm starting to get anxiety about it. And she's just like, you're so paranoid. I'm not cheating on you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So it's like a week passed by, and I'm just like, I'm sitting at school, and I decided to say, I'm not gonna go to my after school program. There was a day that I didn't feel like going, and it wasn't like a mandatory one, but it was like one if you came, you got like rewarded. But I see her and some dude walking with each other. I'm not specifically specifically singling out names. You can tell how much I stutter in my videos and my Twitch streams. But I see them talking at like a stop sign. I'm like, oh, let me go like slide in, say hi, because I thought it was completely weird. They started talking because they did not like each other during the beginning of the year. And I woke up, I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they were just like, oh, hey. I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? They were just like, oh, we're just talking about music. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, I don't really listen to certain genres. I'm more of a worldwide music listener. And they were just like, we know. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, well, I gotta go. Snow was about to start hitting really bad. It was really cold. It was like 10 degrees. Almost froze my fucking fingers off. Like, no joke, when I got home, I had frostbite. It was such a bad frostbite. But I get home, and I'm just sitting there, and it's like a couple of days go by. And she, like, texts me, I have to tell you something. I'm like, oh, cool. And this was like, this was her birthday. Exactly her birthday. And she's just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you saying sorry for? She was like, I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't stop myself. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's just like, you know that day that I walked home with that guy? I'm like, yeah. And she was just like, so I cheated? I'm like, oh wow, that's completely fucking hilarious. Knowing that that guy was the cheater of the school, he literally would try to get with anybody that fucking moved. If you had fucking legs, did he try to fuck you? Let's put it like that. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh wow, that's fucking completely funny. Oh, by the way, me and you are done. And she's like, what? No, I didn't mean to. I'm like, nope, nope, me and you are done. And she was just like, oh, fine, whatever. And she hangs up. I'm like, okay, cool. I get my personal time back. And after a while, my personal time became more of a competitive gaming time because I decided to enter in more competitive tournaments because it was like the only time I could actually get done with stuff was on the weekends, and weekends were like mostly competitive tournaments, so I was fine with it. And then like I think a month, maybe 2 months later, she texted me back in my DMs because I didn't block her, but I didn't text her at all. And she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry for what I've done. Can we restart?" I'm like, no. She was like, "Why?" I'm like, because there's a boundary set when you start dating somebody, and cheating on them is where you break the boundary. You shouldn't be doing that. That's something really fucked up. And she was just like, "Yeah, I know I'm a fucking scumbag, blah, 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 blah." Some shit goes down, and I basically say I don't forgive her, and I don't want anything to do with her. And then, like, 2 or 3 weeks go by, and she starts trying to blame me for certain things that happened in, like, our relationship. Saying how I was a bad boyfriend and that I would never do blah 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 blah. And it was just a whole bunch of fucking nonsense going on to her Instagram. And I had to debunk this whole thing because everybody started looking at me like I was a completely asshole of a fucking boyfriend. And I had to go onto my Instagram and debunk some of it, which is completely sad. You shouldn't be spreading lies about me in the first place. Like, and it was just hilarious how when it's like a bad thing that she did, she instantly flipped it around on me. So after a little while, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna pay it anymore. Mine. I'm gonna give up on this. And recently, about maybe a month ago, she texts me saying, "Hey, I got something really bad to tell you." And I'm like, "Go for it." Blah blah blah. And she's just like, "I'm pregnant." I'm like, "Okay, so." She's like, "So it might be your child." I'm like, "No, I used condoms." And she's just like, "No, this definitely is your child." I'm like, "No, it's not. You're the town bicycle that everybody's trying to take a ride on, so I think that might be their child. It's not my child." And blah 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 goes on and blah blah blah. And like couple of months passes by, and it's like not a couple of months, like just now. And now she's back with her toxic ex that beats her, by the way. And I don't wanna talk about it, nor do I wanna get into more detail of it. But I'm glad I got out of there while I still could. And it was way annoying. Way more annoying. Cause I got called into the office a couple of times about her. That's the main thing that told me to just give up instantly. Like, cause there's guys who was trying to fight me. I was like freaking getting harassed because I even talked to her. So I decided to cut off that chain right then and there, because that chain was starting to become locked up. I didn't want it to be completely locked up to the point where I couldn't get out of there. And now every once in a while she would try to text me and I won't respond at all. And the person, her toxic ex, me and him are still good friends. Me and him are definitely still good friends. Like I don't like him like that, but I will still text him from here and there because we played a lot of games that we both like together. But that's about it for the story time, guys. If you like the story time, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the Undead Army. Go follow my Instagram, Twitter, and also Twitch. Cause I got banned on there. That's another story just waiting to happen. But hopefully I'll see you guys in the next couple of days because I'm gonna keep on trying to post frequently because I have nothing better to do. It's still quarantine in my state. So hopefully see you guys soon. Love you all. Bye.